What's up, everybody? Hey, Steven, how's it going, my man?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing so good. Oh my gosh. I first of all, thank God the stupid election is over, right?
Wait, is it over?
Wait, oh well, for me it's over. I don't know about you, but no, just you know what I'm saying. Like,
The
I
voting's
think a
over,
lot.
yeah.
I think a lot of people have had a lot of stress about this, and whatever the outcome is, the outcome is. I don't think it's going to change a whole lot, right?
I don't, I put a post out on my Facebook, I think yesterday, or maybe a couple days ago. I
Oh
just
yeah.
said,
Hey,
look,
Steven, will
I
you love me,
just,
bro?
that's right. I just said, look, it doesn't matter who you voted for, who wins, I still love you. But I think that I don't like talking about politics a lot.
Yeah,
But
me
what I
neither.
will
This
say
isn't
is
meant to be a
this.
politics call.
It's
It's just
not,
just a hey, what's up?
but we should, as people, we all have to live next to each other. We're all still going to be neighbors. We're all still going to see each other, and we
Yes.
need to love each other. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, I get that we're not always going to agree on things, but that's okay. That doesn't change that it's. Listen, people that voted for Biden, there are amazing human beings that voted for Biden, and I love them, just like I do for Trump. Like, there's people that vote for Trump.
Yeah.
They're amazing humans. I love them. It just so it. I'm glad that the voting part is over. I'll look forward to whatever
Yeah.
happens
Let's get
happens. But I
resolution,
agree,
right?
100%
Yeah.
agree
Yeah.
with you. I don't think that anything so crazy is going to change. That is, look, how many times we have? How many? This is going to be our. We have a 45th president now. This could be the 46th of his Biden. In my lifetime, there hasn't been any exponential changes, and I've lived through the Bushes, the
Yeah.
Clintons,
Exactly.
Obama. It's just this, and it's every year. You get eight blue, eight red typically, and the world still goes round and round, and here we are.
Yeah, and in fact, that was one of the key decisions. And welcome everybody. This is Kevin Perkins here on the Social Nostra. I'm joined with Stephen Basita, one of the co-hosts on the network with the podcast Get It, who, by the way, has been kicking ass lately, and we'll get to that in just a second. But our network just broke 100,000 followers on Instagram. So thank you all who are following us and participating and really enjoying the content because clearly that's a real thing. And
Yes,
in light of and for me that's been kind of my north star. Like we kind of were doing some politics with the network originally, and bless the people that were doing it with us. But we had to move on from that because it is a little bit of a toxic. It has been a little bit of a toxic thing. And that's not to say that we can't be political or talk politics, but I just wanted to just kind of check in, on that front. But let's talk about you for a second, dude. Okay, let's switch gears.
perfect.
You, my friend, have been crushing it lately. What's up with that?
Yeah. So, I've been blessed with having a really good network from all the things that I've done in life. So getting to have, Mike Bars on, which I know we haven't aired that yet. He's a documentary filmmaker. He was a coach for me, great guy, motivational speaker. He's got really such a unique journey, but really for what his documentary was on with this basketball coach, until he told me about it, I didn't even know who he was, and he's the most winning high school coach ever. Um,
Wow,
but
that's
I
cool.
live right next to Modern Day, so who do you hear about? McKnight. He's definitely a high winning coach himself. Getting to have on Kevin Boyle, who is an NHL goalie and a guy that I trained previously at my gym, and I've had the blessing of training quite a few
And
athletes
he's
that
a
have
cool
become
dude
pro.
too, beyond
He's
hockey, right? Like,
super, yeah, he's super chill, super humble.
yeah.
It's funny because like he would work
Just
out,
had a kid and everything, right? I mean, he's
yeah,
like he's doing the dream. He's doing the
yeah,
dream, man.
and he's
Yeah.
just such a chill guy. Like he's very humble, very low key. I mean, it's funny because for everybody that thinks that pro athletes, as soon as they step out of their house, there's a million people waiting to talk to them. It's not true. And I train so many of them and I get to spend time with them. A lot of times I've spent time with them outside of the gym, like going and getting something to eat or getting a drink or just hanging out. I haven't really, unless you're in that top 5%, like you're a a Tom Brady or something, you're not going to get that much. Somebody might recognize you here and there and they'll say hi, but it's not really
Yeah.
like that. But then yeah, getting to have man, I had a strong
I
group
mean, you've
of
had,
guests.
yeah, right. Like it's funny because I would have thought like by now people are kind of burnt out on this whole pandemic stuff and like, yeah, like, digital. No way, man. People seem to be like on overcharged now, and I'm glad that the Social Nostra is an outlet for a lot of these folks. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
you
you go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
go.
Well, I was gonna say, it's even with the podcast I filmed today. Um, people they just want to feel connected to something, right? And I think that even for myself, and I talked about it a little bit in my podcast, like we live in such a vastly different world right now, and with the relocation of me and my family, we don't really get to even meet people because everybody's so cautious and so careful and like don't really trust each other because, well, you could be sick, and I don't know where you've been or what you've been doing, and I don't want to get sick, right? And it really is such a transformative time, I think, too,
Mm,
for us as people. And so this is such a great way to connect. This is how people are connecting now. Zooms,
yeah,
FaceTimes,
yeah,
what we're doing now, IG Live. And people are getting drawn into these things. And I think it's great because you get to feel that connectivity to people. One of the things that I really enjoy is not only getting to do these podcasts with all these really cool people that I have as guests, which has been awesome, but then the connecting part. And then just from, like you said, we have 100,000 plus people on IG alone. That's not including our YouTube channel, which has over 15,000 people. That's not including, the
and
the
that's not even counting like the
Spotify.
transitory, viewers who don't
Right.
subscribe. Like our view, our view stats are so crazy right now.
I know
It's
we're getting
amazing.
like 60, 70,000 views on a podcast, and that's not including Spotify, Apple iTunes, YouTube, all these other platforms that we're getting thousands and thousands, if not like, I know that we have hundreds of thousands of listeners on Spotify and Apple iTunes, which is great. And getting to connect with people, this is kind of that new way, right? Like I really enjoy getting the messages I get, and I know you get blasted all the time.
Oh yeah, oh
Uh,
yeah. It's oh my gosh. So part of the obviously with Social Nostra is we want to have real talk with real people who are real interesting, and part of my recruitment process is I'm scanning IG all the time for stuff, right? And if I find like something kind of cool or interesting or somebody cool, it's like I blast them, hey, you want to come on? And when we first started doing that, when we had like 10,000. Don't get me wrong, 10,000 is a lot of viewers. It takes a long time to accumulate. But the point is that as we just kept growing and growing and growing, people are more like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And now that we're over, this mystical, 100K number, we seem to be getting all kinds of people saying, yeah, for sure, I'm going to be on and blah, blah,
well,
blah. And
how
so
many people do you get contacted by now, though? Because you get contacted a lot. So how many people do you say on a weekly basis contact you?
it used to be pretty sporadic, I would say, maybe like once every couple of weeks, I might have somebody reach out. Of course you get bombed with all that kind of pseudo porn shit, like, click this link and I want to talk to you. Like that's all junk, right? So I don't
Right.
want any of that. But I mean, that's a lot too, right? But so I delete that, block that, and so trust me, if you're trying to contact us with some scammy, gimmicky crap, block, you're gonna get blocked really fast. Um, like don't tolerate any of that crap. There's some people like Gary Vee who are like, yeah, I talk to everybody and I comment. I'm bullshit. You don't have fucking 29 hours in a day to do that, right?
Right.
But in my world, so yeah, it's probably now at least a couple a day. Before it was as that number would arc, it would start to kind of mirror that. And now it's just I can't imagine being like a Barstool Sports or some really super popular brand out there. They must just get inundated with DM stuff all the time. It's just nonsense or whatever. But this is all legit. We're really pretty plugged into the podcast community at writ large.
Yeah.
We're we're, I wouldn't say charter members, but we're definitely, some of the early supporters of, pod booking and some of the, community that's out there.
Right.
And we're supportive of all those people. If they ever want to come on our network and do some stuff, let us
Well,
know. We're more than happy.
and one of the cool things that you've done is you've provided a platform for a lot of people too, right? Like you've plugged us in as far as, me or Lauren or the Bleacher Blums or some of these other guys that are all part of this. You've said, hey, look, we got contacted by these people. Why don't you take a look and you can reach out? And it's been really cool to get to meet people, in such a unique way, which for me was unique. I think this is the new norm though, especially increasingly now as this whole coronavirus still plays a huge negative part in the whole world. I mean, countries are now shutting down again. But getting to actually connect with people and then get to hear their stories. Yep. And, that's one of the things I think that's such a big draw.
So one of the things I think we focus on is, as I'm walking by my side yard, is, we're starting to focus more on, we're getting more targeted in what we're doing. And it's funny because today I was supposed to talk to the guy who resells these things, and
nice.
that's my bad boy. That thing is 320 some pounds, and I did that last night. I did 3 sets of 10, with the sledge on top of it. So it was a good workout, bro, I have to say. But he's interesting in his backstory, and I can't wait to have him on. I hope he's watching. But, there's that guy. I connected with this lifeguard, believe it or not. I used to be a lifeguard back in the day, believe it or not. And this lifeguard from Brazil, Rio, he's a super stud, right? He's super ripped and everything else. But it's really incredible, all the people they have to watch. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen, like, a packed, like, Copacabana beach. I mean, it's insane. And like when he posted something on some hashtag, and I was just like, oh my gosh. So I got to have him on. There's a ton of people. We had, we talked to Kimberly Toko the other day, who, she's a really cool person who also has a really cool backstory. But, she's paralleling with like Lauren and the properties and all that stuff in Arizona and just that whole thing. So we're definitely, trying to keep a good tip on this. This isn't going to be like your Celebrity 101 kind of network, Cheese Monster, talking to Michelle Obama and stuff like that. Not that she's a bad person. I'm just saying, like, those are canned celebs that we're just never going to probably want to talk to or be talking to, only because, they're too popular for us lowly people.
Well, let me ask you this, though, because when this whole network started and I joined, we didn't have an Instagram yet. And now, 5 months later, you have over 100,000 people that are following. Our audience base has reached over 1 million people through all the platforms that we do our podcasts and stuff. And that's happened in 6 months. Well, what happens in 6 more months? I mean, what happens if it's...
And that's to your point, right? Not to interject here, but nothing against Michelle Obama or anybody else like that. What I'm trying to get at is that those folks have an audience already built in. We started this from the ground up, right? And that's the cool part about this is we're starting with everybody at the ground, and we're gonna rise with them too, man. So this is a really good opportunity for everybody, I think.
For sure.
Hooking on. We just go ahead.
I was going to say, and for our current listeners, for those of you who want to hop onto a podcast with us, we do have people that we've scheduled for sure to interview, but we love having new people. We love meeting people. We love hearing your stories. So for those of you that are watching this, if you want to be on a podcast, message us, because we love being able to engage with people. And I've had 3 podcasts that I did on other people's podcasts that saw my podcast and reached out to me and was like, hey, I've got this podcast. I'd love to have you on. And, those are really fun to do too. And I've had the blessing of being able to do a few of those. And I think that, for what the mission is that you've kind of stated here, right? Or our mission statement, we do want to have on people and hear their stories. And it's it's fun to hear stories of what people have accomplished, what they've gone through, and how they've gotten to where they are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just every week, like right now, and actually in the kitchen, the next episode of Bleacher Blums is cutting. And those of you who aren't aware of that show, that's the color commentator for the Houston Astros. You know, take the Astros on whatever plan that you're on. But super good dude. His co-host David Tuttle also super good. Those guys have a great perspective, and they're family men just like us, so they're real, and they've got, but like today, for instance, Blumers, he is starting one of the PGA, the PGA tournament in Houston. So like, that's it. He's got some, a lot of cool stuff going on as well. We just
Well, and they're
signed
both ex-pro athletes too. They're both ex-pro MLB players.
Yep. And we just, on the celebrity side, we just had the Paparazzi podcast join the social network, or Social Nostra network. That is super fascinating. I got to say, like, I have we're still developing a lot of that content for video, but I mean, just the stories I've heard, already about, people that they've been shooting, whether they've been following them or if it's a setup, to pretend like it's super fascinating stuff. I got to say.
It is. I really enjoy their show, man. I tell you what, I learned a lot, and every time I watch their show, I learn a lot.
Plus, they always give a good crack of a good beer. I think they're hoping to get some sponsorship at some point from
There you
somebody on
go.
that. But speaking of sponsorship, these guys aren't our sponsors, but Shady Rays, very cool glasses, good value, man. Did I ever tell you that story about these glasses?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, so I was in Hawaii, and I was like, shooting the shore break in Waimea Bay, and one of the lenses popped out. And I was so bummed because I really like these glasses, obviously. And I took a funny picture with my eye on one side. And anyway, dude, within like 5 minutes, they were like, hey, go to this URL. You get a lifetime replacement on the glass. Literally, by the time I got home from Hawaii, I had a pair waiting for me at home.
That's good.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. It was pretty
That's
sweet. And
always
then
good to have
also,
those kinds of companies, man.
totally. And then, of course, they're not sponsors either, but these are my favorite shoes ever. They're Olukai, slippers.
There you go.
So shout out to all the potential sponsors who want to jump on. Of course,
Well,
I
you
don't
know
have them
what?
pressed out, but
I gotta
I
tell
would be
you,
doing that here now.
511 Tactical, they did a good job too. I just got my flashlight out that I bought a year ago, and it was
Yeah.
an expensive flashlight. And I got it because, like, I have an emergency backpack basically if things go horribly wrong. Just kind of need to, like, leave whatever area we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent them an email like, hey guys, or I called them, sorry. Called them. I said, hey, I got this flashlight. I've had it for less than a year, or maybe about a year now. And it broke. And they're like, okay. And they just sent me a brand new one. So I should have it the next day or two.
I got, you gotta love companies like that, seriously, that are just so plugged into their clients, their customers, and being able to help them out whenever they, need something like
Yeah.
that. But
And that's nice because I don't have to, like, I did buy expecting this thing to work longer than, a year. And the fact that they were so willing to take care of it so quickly, and they
yeah,
didn't need me, they didn't ask, I wasn't lying to them, but it was nice to not have to go through like a hassle either. I'd be like, well, where'd you buy it from? Or do you have a receipt? So it was
yeah.
nice. Definitely that they were so willing to take care of it. I do appreciate those companies for sure. But let me
Yeah,
ask you
and
another
of course
question.
of course I went online too with saying, singing their praises and everything else. So I was just like, they win because, they may have a whatever, cost to send it to me, but shoot, they make it up in advertising by me saying, hey, this is so awesome. Anyway,
For sure.
what would you,
So my
yeah,
next question is this. So look, you're the brains behind the operation, right? I'm a podcaster on the network. But you, for those who don't know, you are the brains. You're the man. You're the one that makes everything happen. So from your shoes, I get a lot of people that ask too, like, well, how do you guys just grow this so much? It's like, well, it, there's a lot of things that go into it, but I want people to hear from you. How did you get this to grow so much? Because again, I can't emphasize enough. We have over 100,000 followers on Instagram. We have over 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. We have over a million-person audience through all the different platforms of Spotify and Apple iTunes and stuff. How did you go? So it's been 6 months. So what are some of the best things that you've done to help this network grow outside of just us releasing content?
Well, I mean, just from my experience, so just to give people an understanding, I've been in the biz like digital for a long time, whether it's, programming or advertising. And currently I'm, marketing, that's my bag. So I kind of have the training, if you will, for creating content and promoting and all that stuff. So that being said, that skill set aside, what people have to understand is a couple things. One is you have to make your content so damn interesting and so willing to be reconsumed over and over and over, that actually takes a lot of work. It can't just be like, hey, we're hanging out, we're smoking bowls or drinking, and ha ha ha. People are gonna be like, okay, I listened to that one time or watched it one time. That's it. I'm done. Peace out. Right? And
Right.
we're not. There's only so much gimmicky stuff you can do too. Like, frankly, there's a lot of like, for lack of a better description, there's a lot of like sex-based type, people using their looks and their sexuality to attract people to their brand. And again, there's a billion of those things out there, so it's not like you stand out or you're differentiated really at the end of the day. So my whole thing is like, look, be different. Figure out a way to come up with something that's really engaging and be really different, and then go with it and be consistent about it and do it all the time, and make that your brand. Do that, and that's kind of what we've done. We took a little bit of a couple of different directions just to experiment and to see how it all goes. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, like, people give you that feedback and you have to respond to it, and that's something that we've been very aggressive about doing. And as Stephen and I have talked about in the recently, was that we're contemplating some even more narrowing and more direct moves on the network, and how we can really kind of get this farther and wider out there. And we part of that is a little bit of luck. There needs to be a little bit of lightning that kind of strikes and capture it in the bottle. But that's the key, is making that apparatus to catch the lightning when it does hit and be able to
Right.
run with
Yeah. And it turns out
it.
to be something pretty amazing. I would say that I think I can speak for pretty much everybody from on the network because I've talked everybody, but it's been, mind blowing to see and to also be part of something that's been so special and has really just crushed it. I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah,
man, this isn't small stuff,
yeah.
and we
Well,
don't have we're not taking the aspect of, the easy draws, right? Which is stick a bunch of girls half naked, you know, that everybody's like, oh, I want to look at her butt more often. I'm going to follow that. We don't do that kind of stuff.
yeah. I mean,
Everything we've,
it's not to say that, again, this is like politics too. It's not to say that we would never talk about these things, or even every once in a while go in that direction. It's just that we're not going to be defined that way. That's really super important. You're a girl dad, I'm a girl dad. Like, I don't want my kids, my daughters, to be like, Dad, what are you doing? That's not ever going to happen, right? And
exactly.
that has to be really something, as a code to somewhat live by. Could my daughters consume whatever I'm generating? Because frankly, it's a little bit lazy too to be like putting out that kind of content, to be honest with you, because you're going to get views, you're going to get, but it's very transitory, and you don't know if it's going to be a permanent or fixture or not,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
anyway, therein lies the rub, if you will. And I have to say, like, part of me, is really excited about the future. I don't know, what necessarily is going to come of our growth, if we can sustain it, or if people are going to bail. That's this kind of nature of content in general. But I look at, like, Barstool. I look at like Nelk Boys. I look at like some of these networks, and frankly, they just kind of stay very consistent with whatever it is that they're generating and whatever it is that they're doing. So I kind of see us improving there, and more good things to come.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So, anyways, brother, listen, it was good to talk to you. I just wanted to do a quick check in. I know you've been rocking it. You've been kicking some serious butt with all your guests, man. If you didn't see, the Kevin Boyle interview yesterday, that was on Wednesday. That was super informative. Is he ex Ducks? I forget. Is he still on that team?
Yeah, he just signed with another team, so he's no longer with Anaheim Ducks anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I mean, and that whole discussion around the road to pro was really fruitful. I mean, especially people who are in sports, man. It's crazy how hard that is.
Most definitely. People don't understand it, but you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than being a pro athlete.
That's so true, bro. Oh my gosh! And then you had Casey, MMA
Yep,
coach, your
Casey
MMA coach.
Halstad. Yep, one of my old MMA coaches, and he's crushing it, man. And I really enjoyed. That was one of the podcasts I was looking forward to doing the most because obviously he was one of my coaches when I was fighting, but to see where he started and to see where he is now, and he's ripping out these UFC fighters. I mean, listen, I've traveled a bit in the last few years. I kid you not, every time I'm like in New York or in New Orleans or in a different state, he's there with fighters getting ready for a huge UFC fight. I didn't go there for that reason. I didn't even watch the
Yeah,
fights. But talk about a guy making moves in the UFC world and just pro MMA. He's got guys in Bellator and Strikeforce and UFC and girls. I mean, just he's and they win a lot. They're not
yeah,
going there and losing. They're going there and they're doing damage. I mean, he's had some
yeah,
big name fighters through his camp that he runs, and so and then getting to have Mike Bars, which will be coming up, and just the road of independent documentary filmmaker. And for people that want to get involved in that kind of stuff, you want to get into film. Great guy to listen to. And just the list goes on. I've got a few different women coming on soon, all entrepreneurs, some of them just crushing life. I've got a few other pro athletes coming through soon, a couple people in the
yeah.
entertainment industry, and also then hearing all their stories through COVID. And today I had a woman on, Jennifer, that I did my podcast with, and she's a stay-at-home mom right now. She was in fashion, she was a model, um, and just getting to hear, what's it like to be a stay-at-home mom right now. It's vastly different than what it was when my wife was a stay-at-home mom for a stint of time. We're about to have our second child here, and there's going to be some very different struggles that we go through. And so getting to hear other people's perspectives on that, it's been a lot of fun though. I think that, going back
Yeah.
to it, being able to have a lot of amazing people on, a lot of amazing stories. Getting I'll be doing another one with Leroy Collins. For those who didn't see my podcast with Leroy Collins, check it out.
Oh yeah, Leroy.
But
I
this
forgot about
guy,
him. Yeah,
he
totally.
died. He actually was declared dead, came
He
back to
was a pro
life.
football player, right?
Yep, he was wheelchair bound, said he'd never walk. Guy ended up playing in the NFL, broke all these records in college. I mean,
So
he's
good.
doing his thing now. So there's just so many amazing people that I've had the blessing of interviewing and having on these podcasts, and it's just been
Yeah,
crazy. And to say that there's just been a lot of them for our whole channel. A lot of people have done amazing stuff, have had great people on. Some of these journeys are people you want to follow and follow their journeys on Instagram. Some of these people, you're going to want to reach out to and say, hey, man, I heard your podcast with Steven or with Kevin or with
yeah,
Lauren. These are
totally.
people that are up for talking and engaging with people too. We're not taking these, like you said earlier, we're not interviewing unattainable people that you're not going to talk to, like Tom Brady and Aaron
Right,
Rodgers. We're talking to
right.
people that are attainable. You can ask them something, And again, I know people reach out to you, people reach out to me, people reach out to Lauren, the Bleacher Bums. We engage with our audience. We love doing it. Um,
Yep.
Reach out to us. This is a platform in which we love having new guests too. We all have some people scheduled, but I'm always willing to throw somebody new in my schedule. I enjoy getting to hear those stories and share them. So
Yeah, well, Steven, dude, thanks again. And for all of you who want to follow Steven, he's typically on Wednesdays at 6 Pacific time. That's when we drop all of our shows, by the way, 6 o'clock, no matter the day. Wednesdays is Steven's day. So look for next week. You're going to have, I think, either Tori or Jenny or one of those. Or no, maybe
Mike
Mike Byers.
Bars, yeah,
Byers, yeah.
documentary filmmaker. Yep.
Yep. Yep. So that's cool. And then Friday, tomorrow, we're going to have the Bleacher Blums at 6. They're going to be talking about the the kind of the post World Series doldrums, put the football on the floor, and just all the kind of the moving of the deck chairs with what's happening in the baseball trades and managers moving around and stuff like that. So again, these guys are always really spot on with their predictions and everything else, and some other really funny stuff, some impressions